Boy, you would not believe the line they had at the grocery store. You'd think self-checkouts would help everything move faster, but stealing from them takes a lot longer. Huh? What are you talking about? Destiny? Starting over Warframe Part 3? Look, just go sit down, I'll whip something up. I spent the last 2 years getting this milk, I'll be damned if I let it expire. Warframe is, at its core, a game about space ninjas. Yeah, I know, shocker. But something that's iconic about ninjas is their swords, or nunchucks, or whatever. But regardless, melee weapons in Warframe have always been a special case, having more mechanics than their primary and secondary counterparts, like this, that, and all these. But we're here just to talk about these two, stances and attack speed. Let's start with the more interesting one. Stances were introduced in late 2014 with the advent of Melee 2.0. Now you could get special mods that not only increase the mod capacity of your chosen weapon, but also unlock new attacks. These were fucking sick, because they weren't just cosmetic. Different combos could have more speed or range, cause more damage, status procs, or other weird things. As an example, Cleaving Whirlwind had a combo that did a really cool spin attack, but the end of the string had your frame stumble, like they just unlocked a repressed memory from middle school. So, the optimal use would have you keep track of the spins and stop mashing melee before the end of the combo. This added a depth of both equipping a stance you might prefer or were familiar with, while also allowing for some rarer stances to, while not being outright better, at least have more exotic and appealing features. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, this Zacmo dude's voice sounds pretty good. Does he work out? Is he single? Also, wow, those are some pretty bespoke and complicated animations, even for a single attack. To which the answers would be, thank you. Not in the slightest, I'm married to the game, and yes, back in the day, especially with attack speed being harder to come by than it is now, you might just want to swat a roller in your face without committing to filling out all the paperwork for spending the next 5 years of your life swinging your greatsword around your head like a helicopter and doing a kickflip just as the first attack of your 5 combo chain. Fortunately, quick melee. This was a button you could press while you had your guns out to perform a quick, simplified combo with minimal commitment, perfect for clearing trash enemies too close for comfort. This was an okay system, but it definitely put some weapons ahead of others in usage, and it was also kind of confusing to have a melee attack, but not the good melee attack. So come 2019, Melee 3.0 came out and squished the two systems together. Now you don't have to intentionally equip your melee weapon to use its full moveset, which was great, but then DE also, I assume in an attempt to alleviate said problem about overly complex or situational combos, reworked every single stance mod. Now there were no more unique combos, just variations on whether you were moving forward or holding block. This did serve to make it easier to just pick up and use melee weapons, but it also brought about a strange homogeneity to weapons. But let's shelve that discussion right now and move on to attack speed, or as the professionals call it, melee attack speed, has always been around. It's kind of a no-brainer that a giant greatsword like the Galatine would take some time to swing, but you've got important things to do. So, early 2010s Warframe offered you Fury, and they said, go forth and hit things faster and stuff. There are also Warframe abilities that increase melee attack speed from all these fine fellows, but Volt was the only one out of the original cast who could do it. Congratulations, little buddy. It was the one time you brought something unique to the table. Nowadays, though, any frame can benefit from juiced attack speed. All you need is the helmet unlocked and a Valkyrie that you are less than attached to. Now, having Primed Fury or Berserker Fury, as well as a Wisp or Valkyrie or Volt on your team buffing your attack speed is basically guaranteed. And with that being the case, weapons and stances are developed differently, since it's assumed you'll be speeding things up at least a little bit. Base animations are strangely sluggish, like you're wading through water. They lack a lot of impact, and the Galatine was manageable if you didn't have attack speed mods back then, but the Grand Prime, yeah, you're not getting anything done without more attack speed. But I digress. So now in 2023, what do we have? A streamlined combo system that prioritizes contiguous and constant attacks and approximately 10 billion% attack speed increases. With the collision of these two speeding trucks, we have reached the Shakespearean tragedy where melee combat in a game about fucking cyborg space ninjas has been reduced to my fucking pointer finger hurts. Or, wait a minute, no it doesn't. What's the date today? Oh. Whoops. Yeah, so this video's original script was written before The Abyss of Dagath came out, in case you were wondering how I was managing my production pipeline. But since this video was supposed to come out several months ago, this segment was going to talk about how having to mash the melee button at extremely fast speeds to achieve maximum melee gameplay sucked. I then went on to discuss some alternatives that varied in feasibility, from completely scrapping and redoing all of Melee to be more in line with something like a single-player action combat game, to making all melee attacks slower but hit faster, to the most realistic option, which was auto melee. See, great minds think alike, DE, put her there. So, when are you doing the same for guns? Overall, I think auto melee is a good change. It's certainly the most time-efficient way of letting everyone, regardless of physical health, take part in the melee blender experience. But then, what if I don't want the melee blender experience? What if I want my greatsword to have weight and impact? I suppose there are heavy attack builds, but I've always kind of found those to be finicky. But if having auto melee means that DE are able to divert their resources to making Warframe 1999, instead of ripping up the melee framework for a fourth time, I'm cool with it. This small change has gone a long way, though, into letting me get back into melee-focused gameplay. I find myself using Volt a lot more, knowing I can enjoy the maximum possible attack speed without getting carpal tunnel. And that's about all I got. Oh, yeah, speaking of getting back into things recently, hey, I'm back in Warframe content creation. I'd been taking a break for most of 2023 to focus on other games, college finals, and streaming stuff, but I'm hoping, keyword there is hoping, to get onto a real schedule of making content for this channel. Stay tuned for more Warframe stuff, and also some stuff from other games I think are cool. Alright, see ya!